Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we are live. Thank you for tuning in for today's Rise Crypto live stream. The thumbnail says it all. John McAfee, AI incarnate. I am joined today by the creator of Antivirus, the Anti token, Josh Case, for today's video. We're going to get started in just moments. Take an opportunity, hit that like button, and share if you're watching over on the X side so we can bring more eyes on to today's live stream.
Rice TVX, the mic's live wire. American Pitbull, real gold buyer. Sound money advocate, vice defender. In the crypto arena, he's the top contender. From the gritty streets of the digital age, Rice lays wisdom, chapter and page. Silver gold, he scores only the bold. Land, life, and liberty, these values hold. Constitution, deep dive, knowledge revival. Navigate the system, critical for survival. Rice engraved like inscriptions on metal. Pitbull in the game, lead foot on the pedal. Land acquirer, a strategic mind. In the fight for freedom, he's frontline. Educate on rights, the law he'll explain. Chris Rice, the Pitbull, breaking the chain. In the arena where truths collide, Rice TVX, the certified guide. Silver and gold, land and rights. American Pitbull in the freedom fights. In a world of chaos, he's the calm in the storm. Teaching the masses, ready to inform. Keys to crypto, rights we cherish. His wisdom lights paths that others perish. Guardian of wealth, from digital to ancient. His legacy crafted, fearless and patient.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on YouTube, on Rumble, and on X. If you're watching on the X side, be sure to share this one out. Be sure to hit that like button wherever you're watching. I am joined by Josh Case from Antivirus for today's live stream. All right, now be sure to join me in Las Vegas at the end of May, the week of Memorial Day. We have the Bitcoin Conference 2025, the Litecoin Summit 2025, and Shitcoin University all happening that week. Check out this information so you can get tickets, save some money, save some sats, and support the channel at the same damn time. Join me and many others at Bitcoin 2025 in Las Vegas at the Venetian on May 27th through 29th. You can get 10% off your passes using promo code RICE at checkout. The Bitcoin Conference is the largest gathering of Bitcoiners in the U.S. I've attended the past 4 years. It never disappoints and it only gets better. Check out their website linked in the video description for more information, featured speakers, agenda, and hotel bundles. Get your passes before the price increases. Use promo code RICE at checkout to save 10% off your passes, and it's a way to support Rice TVX. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to bring up Josh here in just a moment. Real quick on screen, I will be putting in the video description. I'll put it on the pinned comment after the live stream, my playlist with all things John McAfee. As most people might know, I did 7 total interviews with John McAfee. I was very honored and privileged. I think I've done more than 4 or something like that with Janice, and the saga continues. So today I am joined by Josh Case. If you guys aren't following me on the X, as I mentioned, you can follow me over at Rice TVX, and I'm going to have links for the antivirus.ai website and everything that we're going to be talking about on today's show. Now, real quick, before I bring on Josh, something that I want to say to everybody who's watching. I want to say thank you to Miss Janice McAfee. As you guys know, again, I've known the McAfee's for a while, and I was very, very honored. I asked for this, not this specific one, but I did ask, and it was gifted to me. It was mailed to me about 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago. This scarf that I am wearing is actually one of John McAfee's scarves. So I'm very, very blessed to have one of John's scarves. And I just want to thank Janice from the bottom of my heart for hooking me up with that. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Josh Case. Josh, welcome to Rice TVX, the Rice Crypto Show. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I'm looking forward to the conversation. You know, I definitely want to get to know you and talk a little bit about the project. One thing I want to say, you know, I got to commend you. Okay, I want to say that before we even get into anything. I commend you for doing this interview. I commend you for agreeing to do this live stream because, you know, when you're talking a little bit privately, and I got on, I believe, the very first spaces that you and Janice did for Ainti, and you basically said that, you know, I don't have high thoughts of you, and that wasn't necessarily completely the case, but I said, okay, at least we're both being honest with each other. I don't necessarily know what to think of you. That's why I'm offering to do this interview. But you definitely have an interesting past, Josh, as I said. So again, thank you for taking time to do this. I do appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks for having me on, like I said.
Cool. Well, do you mind introducing yourself for people who might be unfamiliar with you, how and when you also got involved in cryptocurrency?
Sure. I first got involved, the first time I ever bought Bitcoin was 2014, I think. And I was using it for a transaction online. I didn't really think much about Bitcoin in and of itself then. I just kind of used it one time, moved on. And then I got interested in 2015 or 2016 in it pretty heavily. I first started buying it late in 2016. And then just kind of been involved in the space ever since. I met John for the first time in 2018 at his house in Tennessee, and we quickly hit it off as friends, and that quickly led into several projects he and I did together. Then, yeah, after his passing, and really after he kind of went on the run, kind of a lot of his crypto side slowed down or fell apart, whatever you want to call it. And then, yeah, after his passing, we started working on, you know, some content that hadn't been released and a documentary with Janice really telling kind of the real story of the last years of John's life. And then it kind of led into Antivirus, which was just another extension of pushing John's legacy and his ideas. And yeah, kind of repicking up a lot of the work him and I did in 2018, 2019, 2020, stuff like that.
Okay,
So that's
cool.
just kind of a real basic summary of kind of my past there.
Yeah, I didn't know you visited him back in the Tennessee days.
Yeah, that's where I first met him, and then when he went on the run, I went to the Bahamas and stayed with them for a little while there before they went to, I think they went to Cuba next or something, and then I left.
Did you
but
visit
yeah.
them in North Carolina, in between Tennessee and Bahamas?
I did not. I had plans to, and then they kind of fled before that date came, and that's kind of what led into me going to the Bahamas instead.
That's kind of what happened to me, but I didn't go to the Bahamas because I didn't have a passport. But he had invited me out to his house after during the very end of the first interview I did with him, which is really cool because I live in North Carolina. And,
yeah. Okay.
Before I could make it happen, yeah, he was no longer in North Carolina.
Right.
So
yeah. He moved a lot, and so yeah, it's tough to plan too far out with him.
you can't. You really can't. Okay, cool. So you mentioned some of the previous, being involved in previous cryptocurrency related projects with John. Were you involved in any projects or anything prior to John? And what were the projects that you did with John?
I did one. It just failed immediately in early 2017. I launched this, it was basically an ICO. When ICOs were popping, it was kind of like a website that had all the ICOs on one page, but we never got any traffic. And that kind of closed that down quickly. There wasn't a token or anything affiliated with that one. It was just kind of like an aggregating website of all what was happening, particularly on Ethereum at the time. And then that kind of idea led into the first project I did with John that was called EtherShift. And it was basically an early version of Uniswap now. At the time, centralized exchanges is what all these tokens needed to have a good place to trade. DEXs weren't we had like Fort Delta and stuff like that at the time, but DEXs were not, you know, the state of where they are today. And then for a lot of smaller tokens, it was just impossible to get on those bigger exchanges. So EtherShift was, yeah, a website where we had like 100 smaller tokens that basically weren't on any of the other big exchanges, and any of the projects John promoted we had, and it was just kind of a swap site. And that was the first project I did with him. We launched that one in 2018, and it ran through, I think it kind of fizzled out like 2022, maybe into 2021. But yeah, that was the first project I did with him. And that project is what spawned the other two main projects, which were Whacked, which was the Epstein didn't kill himself meme token that we did in 2019.
Yeah.
It was just a free airdrop for anyone that held Esh token. You got Whacked token. And then in 2020, we put out the privacy coin Ghost, which was the same thing. If you held the EtherShift token, you got a 1-to-1 Ghost token for that privacy chain. And yeah, those were the main projects I did with John. There was another exchange we tried a little bit later, like a privacy coin exchange that only had privacy coins. Like it had Ghost, but it also had like Monero and Dash and Zcash and Pivx and Verge and these kind of tokens. And then, yeah, that was my full run in crypto. After this John stuff kind of fell apart, I did some other stuff for a few years. And then, yeah, I started talking to Janice in 2023 about kind of content documentary ideas. I was working with some guys that had very good connections and had done large kind of like docuseries type stuff before that were very interested in this kind of untold story of, yeah, a lot of the content online stops when like John, like after the Belize situation, and it doesn't really tell his like crypto story or his run from the law or, you know, just kind of like the last days in Spain. And so that's kind of the story we were trying to and are still actively putting together. And then, yeah, it just kind of led into the other ideas on how to expand John's legacy, his ideas, and the things he wanted to see in the world.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely game on trying to keep the legacy of John McAfee alive. I just, like I had said in that space, I just want to make sure everything is, on the up and up. And that's why I'm glad that you're here to help kind of clear the air for some questions that I have. Regarding Ainti, what is the Antivirus project all about? And we'll get into like some specifics, but just generalized. I'm not saying like the utility and stuff to that effect, but what was the intended purpose in creating Antivirus?
It's kind of, John had talked about a handful of ideas that he wanted to see in the world. Most of these ideas me and John had worked on in the past, and it's kind of just the re-picking up of those ideas, which is just more anonymity when you're doing communication online, such as email. We have private gift card and eSIM portal where you can use the token to buy stuff like that. We've got mixing services, that gives you more anonymity than Solana itself does. And then, yeah, we have the AI version of John McAfee that we've trained pretty good. We're training it day in, day out with full-time developers to make it better. We have a podcast with him, and it's really just about expanding, his beliefs and his ideas and his kind of F the system mentality to an extent. And that's just kind of, yeah, these were John's ideas, and it's just kind of resurrecting them.
Yeah, that's when I was talking to Janice a little bit privately. That's kind of what she was saying, because I was like, this is seemingly pulling a lot from different things that John had his hands in some sense, and kind of pulling it together in one current place with what's going on. And I got on screen the Antivirus podcast. I listened to it. I want to tell you, man, like it's kind of some parts it sounds like John's voice. A lot of what
it's a working process for sure.
A lot of what it says sounds like stuff that John would say, which I thought was neat. I don't know how much of that was completely AI and how much may have been helped. I don't know. Yeah, because
I'll tell you the process. So I've been the one putting together these podcasts so far. So I just prompt our text bot for several different, like I picked the topic of like chaos. And so what do you tell me about chaos? But like, not a single word was written by me or input by me, but it is cut up from a few different responses the bot made to make it a little more cohesive. On the third podcast, we did John's cough for the first time, kind of at the end, where he clears his throat some, and we're trying to expand these like little things that kind of capture the essence more of John.
I noticed that in the second and third one.
Yeah, right. We're trying, and like it's definitely a work in process, but we're working on it, and I mean, we do think down the line. Like you said, like when you're listening to it, there's a few seconds where you almost forget it is an AI. Like he's saying it just right, but then like it does get clunkier sometimes, and you can really kind of tell it's a little robotic. But
Well,
yeah, it's what we're working on.
the reason I asked about the human input thing is because I know that a lot of times it's quirky. It doesn't come out exactly right. I've seen that with the music stuff. And
Yeah.
and as another example, like Sophia, that AI robot,
Yeah.
a lot of what she does is human input.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
There's
trying
somebody
to
in the back
keep
end that's kind of like it's almost more of a puppet than anything.
Right, we're trying to keep it away from that as much as possible, but like I said, I'm not adding any text at all. It's clipped from the bot's response. But obviously we have like our hand guided on like, kind of like what he won't say. I can edit out of that and stuff like that to kind of put together a message that I am curating somewhat, but trying to keep it as close to John and fully done by our AI as we can.
What happened to the? I was clicking on the X and it pulled up to John's account, and I went to go try to find the antivirus on X, and there's an issue here. What happened with that?
We got suspended for impersonating John McAfee.
Wow.
Yeah, we appealed
Have
it,
you?
and yeah, we appealed it many times, and it just hasn't gone anywhere. And
That's
then
crazy.
yeah, we had an antivirus update. Like yeah, I had a Twitter that I just was using for the spaces called Antivirus Dev. Well, I didn't even tweet ever. I retweeted Janice's a few times, and it got suspended for mass reporting. And like, yeah, I don't know. There's definitely just groups that, yeah, like kind of come after everything that has John's name on it and just do their stuff. So yeah, so
Okay.
in the meantime, we've just changed it to John's Twitter link for now. We don't have an official project Twitter at the moment. And we
Cool.
don't really think we will. We think we're just pretty much just going to use Janice and John's, and then we've asked the community to start kind of their own. And there's 4 or 5 of them running that aren't official, but they're just like they're asking the bot questions, posting on Twitter, posting our updates, stuff like that.
Okay. Cool. Cool. That makes sense. Was I correct in saying that you're the creator of the token?
Yeah, I'm the founder of the project.
Founder of the project. Okay. Okay. So when was okay? Well, real quick, I guess before we get into the wins and how's you are the founder. Who is on the team? And I noticed that Bill Noble is involved in marketing aspects, but I don't think he's officially on the team. I
No,
mentioned,
he's not on the team. He was just he when we first launched it, our initial version in November, he was just quickly interested. A guy that I don't know, he had just bought a lot of the tokens, was friends with Bill, told Bill that he really thinks this is a project Bill should get involved in. Bill kind of fell in love immediately with what we're doing after, we had conversations and he talked to Janice and different stuff. And so yeah, no, we don't pay him anything or anything like that. He has just been he's a big believer in the project out there doing his thing, and he really big fan of John and John's ideas.
so he wasn't even like a paid influencer or anything like
No,
that.
we gave him of the version 1 token, we gave him I'm not trying to misspeak. I think it was 0.025 or point a quarter of 1% of the supply.
Okay.
That was for version 1. We had like restrictions on it at the time where, to be honest, I don't know if I think he kind of I don't know. I don't know what Bill did, but I do know because we've met up since before then. I know he has spent a lot of his own money acquiring the token since then, and he has more than that. But no, we haven't paid him anymore. There's no plans to pay him anymore. I don't even communicate with him. It was something we really appreciated by him. Like I don't give him any info really on what we're doing, and he's really like taken the lead on just filling in the blanks himself. He came out and met me and Janice in person a few weeks ago, just kind of on his whim, paid his own flight out there at his own hotel, just trying to like get information about kind of what we're doing. And yes, first time I met him, he seems like a good guy, and yeah, he's just a real big supporter of what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I had seen something. I think in one of his videos where he had talked about, I guess, getting paid in some V1 tokens.
Yeah, we
And,
gave him a tiny at the time. I think it. Yeah, I don't want to misspeak. I think it was
no,
worth like $1,000 or something. Yeah, it was
yeah.
a very small amount. And he was kind of the first video that kind of, I guess, like the first YouTuber that really made a video about the V1.
Okay. Well, I mean, the reason I asked about the team is though, because he said that he had, because of some information he was sharing, which we can get to in part of the video that kind of correlates with some of the questions, was saying that he has communication with the team and the head of the team. And I would assume the head of the team is you. This is like
That's me, yes.
between the beginning of December and the beginning of January kind of time period.
Yes, that was with me. And then, yeah, communication. We did several calls kind of before he did the videos. Like he had his own concerns about like the legitimacy of what was going on and if Janice was, fully involved and not just getting paid for its leak kind of thing and stuff like that. And yeah, once he did kind of his due diligence, like we just kind of let him run with it. And then, yeah, when we stopped V1, like when we paused V1 and announced that we would relaunch as a version 2, and like I think it was about 6 weeks or something. Like I hadn't talked to Bill one time in that 6 weeks or something. I didn't tell him that day we were relaunching. I had said the day 6 days ago, and then we just kind of relaunched it. And then
I think you said there was a little blackout period.
Yeah, and we just were kind of getting our stuff. Yeah, so like he's like, yeah, he's very close to what we're doing. We really appreciate him, and he's not like he's not part of our actual team, so he doesn't have like contact with the developers or anything like that. But I've been in contact with him since November.
So are there any other team members besides you?
Yes, there is. I'm not a developer. A lot of people think I'm a developer, but I'm not a developer. We have 4 developers. I'm kind of a project manager, but we have another project manager that just kind of handles a lot of the day-to-day stuff. And then we have like a design guy that does, the websites and the graphics and stuff like that. And that's kind of our core team. And then we do have a couple guys that kind of work on a very like gig-based part-time basis when we need help on stuff.
I know that like some of the past stuff that you've done, you've been involved with Adrien Delo. I guess he's a more developer. Is he working on the project like a team member as well?
No, he has not been around since, I guess it was towards the end of Ghost, like 2021 or something like that. He was our main developer from 2018 to 2021 on a lot of the projects that me and John were doing. We never had any issues with him. I mean, to this day, I've never had an issue with him. I definitely read the media about DistX, and I know, well, I don't know him personally, but I know the other co-founder of DistX was a previous co-founder of a project. Like when I met Adrien, they were doing a project that it was those 2 guys. And yeah, I don't know. Like I talked to Adrien in 2021 or 2022, and his version was, that the other co-founder actually did it all, and he kind of got the fall for it. And I don't know what the truth is or not. At that point, that was kind of after I had stepped back from the project. John was on the run kind of thing, and I wasn't as involved with the space then.
So something I meant to ask earlier, you just made me think about it again when you mentioned Ghost, and then when you were talking earlier about WAC, the two projects you were the more well-known McAfee related projects you were involved in. Are there any projects that you have been involved with, created, founded that still exist today that are currently doing what they were created and intended to do?
Ghost and WAC both still are. WAC just had their 5-year anniversary. It's a deflationary token. About half of the supply has been burned over the last 5 years just from people moving around and trading it. Ghost is a privacy chain that just celebrated their 1,000th block, I believe, last week. And they have an active community, and over 50% of the Ghost supply is staked. Never had any downtime in 5 years. Yeah, both of those projects are still active. I've not been involved in either of those projects since
that's what I was going to ask.
2021 or early 2022, but right in that range is when I had left those projects.
Cool. And again, man, thanks for answering and being transparent with it.
Yeah.
So going on to the V1 token, which at the time was just Ainti. When was the Ainti token created, and by whom? Who created the token?
I was the founder of the token. It was a developer. Like if you're talking about physically click the button to make the actual token, it was a developer team we were working with. But yeah, the original name was going to be McAfee's Vision. And we started working on that in the summer of 2024. And then as we were working more on the ideas, we came up with the name Antivirus, which we thought was a lot better. And then, so I was working with so the developers we still have, but also another team that was like a 3 person team of developers that just met online, in developer groups, and yeah, they did fine. They did a lot of the initial work on the bot and some of the other stuff we had, and yeah, they're the ones that physically deployed the token.
Okay.
But I was the founder. It's my ideas there, or John, I'm the founder. I'm the one paying them to build these ideas.
Right. So you hired somebody to develop the token.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And I know that there had to be a V2 there ended up being a V2. Okay, real quick. When was the V1 launched officially? What was the date?
November 2024. I can maybe look at the exact date. 1 second.
If anybody in chat happens to know, you guys can let me know in the live chat too. That'd be great. I'm thinking it was like,
it was for sure in November. I don't
like the 18th.
Middle November, yeah, something like that. Yes.
So the 18th sounds kind of right. And it was created by a development team. So in between that and V2, there was an issue. I'm not sure what it was, because I'm not sure what was said exactly, but I'm hearing things to a rogue employee or some government agent that infiltrated the project. Can you clear up what happened with that scenario?
It's a rogue employee. It's definitely not a government agent, but I know they're talking about the John bot created content, hyping up, not hyping, but exaggerating with his style of writing in the bot what happened. But basically, one of the team members that we hired to develop the token, we were working on the eSIM product, which is out now but wasn't out then, where you can buy an eSIM with Anti. And he launched a token on pump.fun that was called Antivirus eSIM or something like that, or John McAfee's eSIM maybe. And he launched it from the exact same wallet that launched the Antivirus token. And it was only, I don't know how much, 10 minutes or something before someone said something is this your guys' official token? And I went in and said, no, it's not our token. The eSIM product won't be a token. It's an eSIM you can buy with our token, but it caused a bunch of confusion. And that's kind of when I realized, the way a deployer wallet works and stuff, even if they sent me the key to that wallet, they always have the key too, So that's kind of when we kind of realized, we're going to have to redo this a little closer with people we personally know and not, some person we don't know on the internet. And so that's kind of why we decided to wrap it up. And then we just did a 1-for-1 supply swap for version 1 to version 2. And then when we launched version 2, it's a developer that, I personally known for a long time. He was involved with John before I knew John. And he was our primary developer for the version 2 launch.
Yeah, well, something I was curious about is whomever you hired to develop the V1 token used pump.fun, which is something that you could have done without actually hiring somebody. So
correct, for sure. It was more just and absolutely, I'm not a developer, but
and it wasn't just real quick. It really
crypto. Go ahead.
It wasn't just one token though. Whoever created the actual token, the Anti V1 created two versions of Tequila the dog, which is John's dog, using John's dog and pictures. A token called Crazy with AI inside of the Crazy, along with anonymous eSIM, which is obviously something that's being offered.
That's the one. Yeah, I didn't even see the dog ones or anything or the other.
Yeah, I mean, this is really easy to pull up. Once you get to one of the tokens, you can just see all the tokens held, created.
Yeah, but no, so yeah, I'm no developer, but I'm somewhat crypto savvy. I've been in the space for a long time. I could absolutely launch a token on pump.fun. I opened the liquidity pool when we launched version 2. I'm familiar with Radium and how these products work. But they were our developer team. We've been working with them for a couple months. We built this AI bot. I also Pump's a fair launch site. We weren't bundling or anything. So in my mind, I really wasn't thinking the deployer wallet as much of an issue. Launching on pump.fun makes it, revoked, unmintable, all these things. I wasn't really thinking the concept of using that. They could use that same wallet to launch another scam. And that was kind of just honestly an oversight on my part. I knew, it didn't really matter per se who launched it on pump.fun. The actual contract on pump.fun would be safe. And
yeah,
so
I mean, can you see why though this situation would raise red flags without speaking to anybody directly?
Yeah, I can definitely see it, and that's why we kind of redid it into a version 2. And also it caused confusion more than anything. Like those, I think, to be honest, I don't know what the dog ones did or anything. I just
I
heard
don't think
about
any
those,
of them
but
really
like,
did. I don't think
I don't think
I don't
that's
think
what
they
I'm saying.
did
It's not like
anything,
there
but
was like a major scam. It was more just we just seen like not only can we not really trust this team, but like here's kind of a security vector we really didn't think about. And so yeah, that it was more just an oversight than anything, but it really kind of showed that, you know, hiring random developers to have sensitive or potentially sensitive parts of the project have a lot of risk too.
so the rogue employee would have been the person that developed that was hired to develop V1 token that also created all these other tokens.
Yeah, well, it was a group of 3 developers, and I've never met personally any of them, and so like we don't know, you know, which of the 3 physically did it. They all had access in theory to that deployer wallet, all working on the same stuff. Yeah, basically we just had to let those 3 go. We hired people that had worked on John's stuff before, or that we knew personally, or that were recommended by people that personally that we knew and worked on John's stuff. And so we just kind of used that version in between V1 and V2 to kind of rebuild the team that we wanted to launch with in a lot safer and more secure way.
Okay. Okay, cool. I want to take a moment just to kind of do like the necessary like house cleanup stuff when you're doing a live stream on YouTube, Rumble, and X, and let people know if you have not smashed that like button. It helps the algorithm. It helps other people to see this video. If you're watching on the X side, if you guys could repost, that would be greatly appreciated, especially if you're enjoying this interview. All right, so to get back to it, so that is the reasoning for having to create the V2 token. When was the V2 officially created and launched?
January 22nd.
Okay. I was thinking it was the 6th.
No, it was
I
January
could be off.
22nd for sure.
It was 22nd that the token was created,
Yes.
which would have been something like 4 or 5 days after Donald Trump
Oh,
released
I'm
his
sorry.
meme
Sorry.
coin.
That was our launch. Yes, our launch was on the 22nd. We did the swap 6 weeks before or so. Like when we announced that we were going to stop version 1 and launch a version 2, everyone swapped their tokens in for the new token. They got their new tokens about 6 weeks before the launch, but we hadn't opened the liquidity pool yet. We opened the liquidity pool and launched the project again on January 22nd.
Okay. Now, when it came time for V1 holders to get the V2 token, this to me was just kind of odd, and this is one of the big things that I wanted to ask you about, because when I know of an airdrop in a sense happening, if you had to do a V2 using the same chain, you already have all the information about the receiving addresses and how many tokens they hold. So it's just real easy just to kind of drop people the V2 token. No work done. Just simple, easy, no problem. This situation turned into send in your V1 tokens to get your V2. Now, before you answer, before you answer though, listen, while this is going on, you're communicating on Telegram a 1-to-1 swap. Before the swap actually occurred, it looked like there was a supply reduction in V2, and it wasn't a 1-for-1, it was a 1-to-10. So every 10 V1 tokens you sent in, which technically had value, you would get 1 V2 token. Am I correct in that?
Well, it was a supply swap. So if you had 1% of the supply, you got 1% of the new supply still. We reduced the token supply, but everyone got the same amount of the percentage of supply as they had.
But everything said 1-to-1 ratio, which would be if I have 1, I get 1.
Yeah, and the reason
I didn't see any further communication to the token holders about the 1-to-1 going to 1-to-10, and then having to send the V1 to receive your V2, which we'll get into that in a minute.
Okay. So the V1 to V2, when we announced we were wrapping up, we told everyone that they had the option if they want to swap into the new version, they can, and we told them how to do that. 70-something% of the supply did it, and then even after, we gave them a window, but we swapped in even days after our V2 launch. We were still swapping V1 to V2 holders. And so we gave them that opportunity. It also gave some opportunity to sell. There was a lot of people that just didn't believe us. The guy that brought Bill Noble to us, he turned into, honestly, a non-believer, and he sold all of his tokens. And that's what we were also doing, is giving the chance for the non-believers to get out We also wanted to exclude this team that had some of the tokens that was scamming on the side. And we know we could exclude that through an airdrop as well. But as a lot of the people dumped that day, that gave us a better opportunity to buy more V1 tokens and put them more in believers' hands instead of non-believers' hands. And then, yeah, the swap was done 100% fair. We decided to reduce the supply simply because there's 37 million pump.fun coins that all have the exact same supply, which if they're in a similar market cap range, it gives them all the exact same amount of zeros, and it just looks bad on a screen compared to a smaller supply that has more manageable numbers like pennies. And so everyone got the exact same amount of supply. We just reduced the decimal point.
Okay, cool. I mean, I appreciate explaining it. I just didn't see the communication happening to the V1 holders, but I haven't necessarily gone into the chat to see how many people may or may not be upset about it, because I wanted to try to remain as non-biased as I could and not try to get into anything.
Yeah, I'm not saying
I try to gather facts.
I didn't see anyone upset with that because it is the same thing. You know, if you had 1% supply, you still have 1% supply. So I didn't see personally anyone, but yeah, that wasn't a highly communicated point. It was something we, in that 6-week blackout period, we thought of that as kind of a way to differentiate our token just a little bit from the 30 other million pump fund tokens, just with little parameters. So yeah.
Okay. What happened to all the V1 tokens that were sent in by the V1 holders to receive their V2?
This was in the Telegram group. You can go back, look, we sold them all, and it was about $26,000 or something. And then we used that money and a lot more of our own to open the new liquidity pool. And we opened version 2, which we opened with 300 Solana, which was like $90,000, something like that. I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
And then we locked that liquidity as well. So yeah, it was all just transferred over to V2.
Okay. So when the airdrop took place for V2 tokens, and I'm not a chain analysis person, but I've had a couple of people look into things, and I was just looking at some stuff that people had said on like social media, like X and stuff. Yeah, there's chain investigators out there. So it looks like there is roughly 25 wallets that are completely brand new at the time of the airdrop that didn't have Solana or the V1 token that got airdropped, what would be equivalent to 15% of the supply of the antivirus token. Yeah.
So we've explained that in the group as well. That was 10% of Janice's supply, which we have locked up and put all the addresses in there. The other 5%, 2.5% is for the dev fund. And the other 2.5% was related to other team members, marketing and stuff for the launch. And yeah, we put all of that in the Telegram, the entire breakdown of the supply.
Okay.
And Janice is we locked them maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't remember that day, but yeah, her full 10% of the supply is locked with the hashes public for 2 years.
That I do want to get into like how it's locked here in a minute. When exactly did Janice McAfee get involved with Antivirus? You said the launch is on the 22nd officially. I think she tweeted on the 23rd from John's account.
Yeah, so when me and her first started, so the last time I seen her physically was when I was in the Bahamas in 2019, I believe. And then when John was in Spain, I was communicating with her through email, and me and John were getting some communication done through her. And then once John passed away, it just kind of went dark. I didn't talk to her for several years, 2 years or something. I reached out to her in May, I believe, of 2023. And just kind of told her that I had, like I said earlier, like I had some guys that had done docuseries kind of stuff in a big way that was very interested in this story and that we should start telling it. She agreed. So we did, dozens of hours of interviews when she was still in Spain. We had crews out there all the way until she came back to the US. We had her first line in the US. We were working on all this stuff that was helping tell his story. And when I started working on the crypto stuff of it, she was very aware of that and supportive and everything. She knows these are John's ideas, but like part of the documentary, is John got investigated and ultimately charged and ultimately passed away because he was posting crypto coins on his Twitter. And so, like, we really didn't want to get Janice involved in any way. We didn't plan to have John's official accounts involved in any way at that time. We were just kind of rebuilding John's ideas. And then once Trump tweeted his, we knew that, at least in our mind, it was much more de-risked to bring her involved. And so we just told her, like, laid it out, like, look, Trump did it, Melania did it. If you think it's the right fit for you, then that would be great. And if you think it's risky, not. And she was just like, no, these are John's ideas. She supports them, and she has just been, just absolutely involved and taken kind of the full lead on content and stuff since day one. You're muted, Rice, I think.
Yeah, I just realized that day one of V2, right?
Yeah, or day two of V2 maybe. Well, I mean, she was involved. Yeah, she may have tweeted on the 23rd. I don't remember, but yeah,
that's what I think it was, if I'm not mistaken.
But it was within an hour or two of the Trump tweet that her and I were talking about. Like, it seems like the risk is off for now, and yeah, if you want to get involved in this way, there's probably a big opportunity. And yeah, she was totally there.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm correlating it to this conversation, but when Donald Trump launched that meme coin, it was like open season for shady shit to start going on.
I mean, I know what you mean, but it's more just
because just the president. If the president is doing it two or 3 days before his inauguration, then it'd be really hypocritical to go after. I even said that SEC should have dropped all their cases against cryptocurrency projects because of that.
Yeah, no, and they kind of have been since then.
But yeah, it was convenient to take advantage of what Trump did. Definitely did some spur on
me and
stuff.
Janice, her and I have been working together for years, and it was highly going to be this content driven angle of it, and it still is highly content driven with her, but it just kind of opened up another angle of pushing his ideas that she's happy to support.
In a video that Bill Noble had put out, and I got it up on screen here, he had mentions, and this is from the 7th of December. You can see it scrolling. You're not going to hear, but you can see where the words here. And he's saying that Janice is involved. And he says his wife is involved. And this was on December the 7th.
Like I said, she was involved, but she wasn't going to lend her public support to it. We had no plans to use John's official account. Like, that all seemed very risky.
But she was, like, in the back end involved with V1?
She's not in the back end. Like, she's not a developer. She doesn't know much about cryptocurrency, but she's very aware that John and I worked on these ideas for many years. And her whole, point after kind of she got back to the U.S. was to expand the presence, tell John's stories, push his ideas. And this is just one angle of that. But it wasn't an angle, like I said, we were going to have her take any legal risk on.
Okay. No, and I respect that. I definitely wouldn't want to put anybody in any legal jeopardy that's going to put somebody in some problem. And that would definitely suck. So when it comes to the wallets, Janice's 10% supply is supposed to be locked up. It looked like you said that it came from the 25 wallets that didn't technically qualify for the airdrop. And then of that, those 25 wallets somehow, because it was posted in a Telegram group of 17 different wallets that were then put into 10 to be Janice's 10%. Correct. Why is Janice's not in one wallet?
It's pretty simple, and it was just like what we were advised from like people in the space, but that when, at least on Solana, with a lot of these DEX tools, a lot of traders, they consider it a more risky project because there's so many rug pulls if one person owns a big chunk of the supply. And a lot of these platforms don't show you if it's locked or not. And so everyone had just suggested us to put it in smaller than 1% wallets. That was what the 17 was. Basically, we just chunked it down into less than 1% wallets. And then when we locked them, we just put them in 10 wallets that have pretty much 1% each.
I mean, I can't say who owns these wallets, but there's a lot of wallets that are similar to those 17 wallets that all just have various amounts that are kind of under or around 1% ish too. I mean, it seems
That's just kind of like, I mean, someone could probably speak to it even better than me, like, but that's just like standard for Solana. We even publicly asked like one of the biggest guys, his name's Just Dario on Twitter. He's one of our biggest like supporter whales. I've never met him. He bought all of his tokens on the open market. I don't know what percentage of supply exactly he said he owns. I think it's 6 or 7% of the supply or something, but like a few weeks back, he had one wallet that had like 4.5% in, and he's doxed himself publicly. He says he's not going to sell to $1 billion market cap, all this stuff. People know his wallets. And we had like some people that are really good in this space and very knowledgeable tell us that if he'd break down his wallets, it would be helpful. So we asked him publicly on our Telegram that if he didn't mind to break down his wallets into 4 or 5 different wallets, that'd be helpful. So he did that and posted all his wallets. So they still know it's just broken down. And honestly, like, I can send you some text later. Like the person that is advising us is just one of our advisors, and like she's very known in this space. She's very good at this. She's worked with a lot of very, very good projects, and it's just like some of the advice we've taken. It's like I don't know if it really matters or not. We've just kind of taken the advice.
okay. I mean, it definitely, like I said, it's raised concerns for me. I mean, a combination of how the airdrop took place or having to send the V1 to the V2, and I mean, like I said, it's just bringing a lot of concern.
But also on our V2 launch, the V1 token went up, I don't know, from a $20,000 market cap up to like a $3 million market cap, had millions of dollars of volume. Like there's also an opportunity, like this space is weird, and like there's a lot of guys
you would have been the main holder of the V1 token, being that all the V1 holders.
No, we dumped all the V1 publicly to use that for opening liquidity for V2. We didn't have any V1. We dumped 70-something% of the supply. That's why it was down to the 20.
You sold it off market, is what you're saying?
No, we sold it on market.
On market.
Yes. When we collected everyone's V1 tokens, which was 70-something% of the supply, we sold them on market, which crashed V1 down to like a 20 or maybe a $15,000 market cap. We used that Solana, and then we like tripled it. That was like $20-something thousand, and then we used that plus other Solana to open up the V2 pool.
Okay, because I was kind of under the impression that you were funding this yourself, the way that you had insinuated in some of the spaces.
Yes, me and a friend of mine have fully funded this ourselves, and except
for the selling of the V1 token that gave marketing money.
But that wasn't marketing money. We sold those tokens and used that for the V2 liquidity pool, and it's locked. We just transferred it from V1 to V2.
Okay. How is Janice's tokens locked? Because nothing I'm seeing is showing that any tokens are locked.
I can send you. I'll just go ahead and send it to you. You can maybe share it out. We put it in our Telegram. Like each one of them's on a smart contract lock that you can check straight from Solana.
Yeah, if I can pull it up on screen, you can send me a link either on our Telegram.
Each one of them has the hash. Yeah, 1 second. I'm pulling it up.
And you could also do it through the private chat here too. I'm just trying to be concise in how I'm asking everything, man. So again, thank you for being transparent, answering the questions. I'm still kind of like, I'm not sure what to think.
1 second.
I mean, there's a few other things, but the fact that it went from 25 to 7.
I forwarded it to you on Telegram, and I'll just give you the breakdown quick. It shows the address. The address is the actual Solana address the tokens are in. You can check the amount of them. And then the lock contract is the actual smart contract hash that shows that those tokens and that address are locked.
Okay. Can I screen share this?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, that's public.
It's our private chat, so that's why I wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a complete dick.
Yeah, no.
It's just partial.
So yeah, those are all Janice's wallets, and they have a 2-year lock on them.
Okay, those wallets, seemingly, I was trying to get this fucking thing to go away. Anyways, there's those wallets, the 10 wallets that ended up being Janice's 10%. Went from the 25 wallets to the 17, but before they went to the 17 to the 10, there was 40 other wallets in between that the funds were the 17 were transferred to 40 different wallets. Those 40 different wallets were transferred to the 10 for Janice. Was that done on purpose or using the Solana mixer?
It was not done using the Solana mixer. That doesn't even do Anti, it just does Solana at the moment. I think I might be missing your question, or maybe I misunderstood you.
Why? Like, so you said that the 10% of Janice's supply came from the 25 wallets that wouldn't have qualified for the airdrop. And then you explain what the other 5% were. Of those 17 wallets that were going down to 10 for Janice, in between the 17 going to the 10, they went through 40 other different wallets and different combinations to get to the 10. So it wasn't like just sending from 17 down to 10. It was like this weird filtering thing that happened.
I'll try one right. I'll try the top address right now, and I'll send you the link. I don't think that's true at all. I mean, I'm going to check it. These are Janice's.
I mean, it's just going back through the chain analysis. I mean, again, it's just there was just so many red flags that's why I want to have this conversation.
But I'm just saying, I don't know if it's true. Like, if you look at Janice's, like I just think those 10 wallets. You look at the top wallet, go to SoulScan, post the wallet. It got 2 transfers of Anti from 2 wallets, and all that is combined. I mean, it's consolidating the 17 to the 10. It's only had 2 transactions, and then it has the lock transaction where it locked 998,442 Anti.
Okay, I mean, some of this again. This is not something I am an expert in.
Yeah, I'm no expert either.
I just had some people feeding me information that I
trust.
But
like, and it's interesting. Like, I don't know if this was something you plan to talk about or if you've seen, but did you see the Bubble Maps tweet the day we launched V2? It was a big point of contention.
I've seen a couple different ones where it kind of shows where wallets are kind of like have intermingling.
So yeah, basically like Bubble Maps, they have hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter. They're big and trusted in Solana. Like the day we launch, they don't do any research on V1 at all. And they basically say anyone that had these tokens before our liquidity pool opened, which was our entire community, were the insiders. It was just the team and Janice. So they go out on this like 15 tweet thread about how Anti has 80-something% of the supply or something in the supply or in insiders' hands. And it wasn't insiders, it was hundreds of community members from like our actual token. And yes, like there's so much just insane information that flies around because they know most people won't even check it. They'll just read the Twitter and move on and assume that we had 80% of the supply to insiders, but literally none of it's true.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to check something on my screen, and I was just having an issue. I apologize.
No, yeah.
I do appreciate everybody again for taking the time to tune in. Make sure you smash that like button if you guys have not already. Like I said, I would definitely like to look more into that. We have is there a team allocation and wallet information for any of that for the V2 token?
There's 2.5% of the dev fund. It's in a couple wallets right now. It's in a couple of those original wallets. Those haven't been touched. I can post them. I got no issues with that, but I don't believe that they've been posted which wallets they are.
Okay, because I mean the reason I'm asking is because the website doesn't really include anything about the team allocation, anything really. It's just obviously what you see on screen here. So very minute.
Because basically, because version 1 was pump fund launch, and so like our entire supply was allocated to the people that bought it, and those V1 holders came over to V2. So I mean, we don't really have. There's not the typical allocation of a team that pre-mined a token and has like 20% team and this and that. Like even Janice's tokens, like she wasn't part of the V1 of the token hold because the same thing, like didn't want her to have that kind of risks of anything. We had planned, if anything in the future, she could just do content with us and we just, pay her. But yeah, so we don't really have like the kind of tokenomics of like a pre-mined token. It's just like, it's fully diluted into the community. And like the things we've set aside is just tokens we've bought and attributed to a certain thing.
Okay. Yeah, it would be great if like the website itself had some more information as far as like that kind of stuff, team allocation, where people could verify, because crypto is don't trust, verify.
Yeah, and I get that, but yeah, like the team has no allocation, like all tokens were bought, and so like it's different than something that was pre-mined.
What's going on with the token burn? How's that affecting?
So far we've burned like 53,000 tokens, I believe. Like from the products, from our burn, 52,341.
Is there a burn address that's going to?
Yeah, it's posted in our Telegram group. It's the Solana burn address, but we post the hash where we sent the anti to the burn address. I'll forward that to you real quick too.
How was that created though? Like because when you have a burn address, you're basically creating a wallet that has
we don't
recovery.
create it's, but we don't create the burn address. It's the Solana burn address. It's the Solana, like the whole chain's burn address. Everyone sends their stuff there.
It's like an official Solana dumpster, basically.
Yeah. So we just post the hash.
Dumpster.
Yeah, I just sent it to you on Telegram. So we just post the hash where we actually sent, the anti there. But yeah, the wallet is, like instead of a traditional wallet, it is like 1 NC, 1 E, 1 like it's just, it's a burn wallet. It's called the incinerator.
Okay. Yeah.
There's
what I was
billions of dollars of tokens in there.
I had a Bubble Maps link, and I was trying to find it in my saved chat. I just have so much crap here in my saved chat. It was hard for me to find it, so I can't find it to pull up. So just bear with me 1 second here. I have notes. Usually when I do interviews like this, I just kind of go with the flow with things, and it's a conversation.
Yeah, I just sent you on Telegram their starting tweet, and then the threads from there, the Bubble Maps one.
Okay. I got it right here. Let me go ahead and see if I can copy that link. I can transfer it back over to here. And let me go back to the chat that you had sent me. I can pull this up on screen in just 1 second. I'm just navigating back through multiple tabs here and running the live stream myself, which is always fun. Okay, we got it on screen. Okay, so what was the next thing I was going to look at? It was in your chat that you had sent me.
That fee burn hash, I think, is the other thing I sent you.
Yeah, the 52,341 being burned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bear with me a moment. F97, and that's the. Let me pull it up on the other browser. So this is the soul scan for the burn. Is this part of the burn or all of the burn?
That's the burn we've done so far from the product fees. And
it's going to.
So you click that
this is the sending address.
Yes.
Okay. The F97 AZW is the one sending to burn, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So make sure I had the right address here to pull up. F97 AZW.
If you right click it or something, you can just open another tab with it on it.
That's the this is the same address, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why is it closing accounts and closing liquidity?
It's not closing it. It's Radium's burn.
Removing, I shouldn't say.
It's not even removing. It's Radium's burn and earn. And so basically on Radium, if you lock all your liquidity, which we did, like $200,000, you get a portion of the fees from the trading activity. And that's part of the fees from the trading activity, which is what funds the developers.
What is this on screen?
That is the fees.
That's specifically and only the fees. That's not removing liquidity?
No, all liquidity is locked.
Doesn't it say remove liquidity though?
It's the way it's tagged, but you can Google Radium burn and earn. Like you have to burn all your liquidity and then you get the fees on the side, which is, I think we get 2/3 of 1% of trading fees.
I got a friend of mine in chat, 10 pound. If you can tell me what this means on screen, I'd greatly appreciate it. Or if anybody else is watching, because to me, this looks like the address that is sending to the burn, which is a team address, is removing liquidity. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, you can let your friend chime in. That's the liquidity pool address. That's the pool that opened the liquidity pool. If you go to our very
Well, it's the
first,
same
like,
address that's sending the burn though too. That's why I wanted to make sure we were talking about the right address. It's the
yeah,
same
and we are
F97AZW that is
correct.
removing liquidity.
We're not removing liquidity, but I know that's what it says on SoulScan, but it's not. All the liquidity is locked and burned. That's like, you can Google it while you're waiting. Google radium burn and earn. It's just it's the protocol.
Okay, hold on a
We
second.
didn't come up with that.
Google,
That's
what is
what
it called?
radium, like radium's the liquidity.
RAYDUM,
Yeah, radium burn and earn.
burn and earn. Okay, that comes up. So
Radium's one of the biggest liquidity providers on Solana. That's who we opened our pool with. You can do like Radium or Meteora. And then if you burn all the liquidity you opened it with, we opened it with almost $200,000. You have to block that forever and burn the keys, and they automatically do it. Then you earn a portion of the trading fees, and other people can do that too. So one person already took like a third of the pool. That's why typically you get 1%, but other people can do the same thing, and so we get about 2/3 of the percent in the wallet.
I'm trying to pull up some more information on it.
Yeah, it's the kind of liquidity pool we are. Like, to add liquidity, you have to burn it.
It's like, with me not being like an expert in this and just seeing
But
the
this is
fact that it's
like, I
just
mean, like,
saying
talk
removing
to
liquidity.
like all these tokens. This is how all of them are. It's bad that SoulScan like claims it like that, because it's not part of liquidity. The part of the liquidity pool. It's the fees that are held separate from the liquidity pool. Yeah, go ahead and have your friends confirm it, or whoever wants to, but that's what it is.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're being forthcoming. You're still here. You haven't left. So I mean, that, I do appreciate you being forthcoming with this and such. This is from Altcoin Buzz saying Radium launches burn and earn for permanent liquidity locking. Yeah, I still don't understand it. I just got to look more into it. So you're just saying that it burns off the actual liquidity?
It locks the liquidity. Like, when we opened the pool with like $200,000, it locks that forever. And then it automatically burns your key to ever remove that, and it gives you an NFT instead. And that NFT allows you to collect fees from trading. And this is like an extremely common, tens of thousands or probably millions of projects that have used the Radium burn and earn. Like, it's one of the most common ways to open a liquidity pool.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely had to do a little bit more research in this, because it just looks like things are being closed out and removed if you're just looking at it from what it says. And that, to me, that was like,
Yeah, if you go to if you have our
ahead.
deck screener page pulled up by chance, or you could go to it real quick, deckscreener.com.
Yeah, hold on one second. Right here.
Yeah, if you search, like, see where it says liquidity 309,000, put your mouse on that little lock thing. It'll show you what percentage is locked. 99.91 is locked liquidity, and that's all from the Radium burn and earn. And like, yeah, that's locked forever. It's just a yeah.
Are you familiar with this D.Fi site and their scanners?
No.
Okay, I'm just gonna run it. My friend Satoshi Sean, he interviewed Janice, and he told me it was a pretty nifty tool. Gives like a safety score, a DeFi score, basically calling it low risk, which isn't as bad as high risk and medium risk. It mentions contract addresses, socials, liquidity. And this is what I don't get. From this, it's showing liquidity locked 0.0%, and then liquidity burned 99.91%, which is the opposite of what we were seeing on here.
It's just them using the same term or different terms for the same thing. Like, that liquidity is locked, and then the access to it is burnt. But it's the same thing as burnt or locked. But like, if it's locked, it has an unlocking date in the future. Like, Janice's tokens are locked for 2 years, then they will unlock. But this burns, your access to them in the future, and they're forever burned into the pool.
The one thing is, and I'm not sure who this is, a dumper is saying that there's a private wallet that owns a significant percentage of this token supply is obviously some kind of warning too. And this you could do.
You
for
can
free.
look. I don't think that's true, but you can look on Deck Screener real quick. If you look at that thing, you can click holders and it breaks it down by every wallet.
Yeah, that's why I said there was no one wallet that had 10%, because it's obviously you can pull up the holders right here and it's showing you that the most that's being held in one wallet is Radium.
Yeah.
But going back to the Deck Screener, the day that it launched, I mean, this looks like a pump and dump. It hasn't. I know that we're in a shitty time period of the market, but it never truly kind of recovered from its launch, in my opinion. And it was.
Can you tell me one coin that either did recover or that didn't launch like that?
Not in that time period. I can't. No. I mean, if I put this in comparison with Trump, if I put this in comparison with that token that was launched with the blessings of.
We were very there's a reason when we did the blackout that I set the date for January 22nd, 6 weeks in advance. Like, we're very aware that hype in the market would have been, ideal then. And you can look, like, our community had all the tokens. So yeah, there was dumping going on, but it was our V1 guys that bought in, at a $200,000 market cap.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Somebody was saying that Grok does a good job explaining the Radium program, so I could take and
Grok is good. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think it might be cool just kind of do that in real time to help me kind of get a better understanding of it. So let's go ahead and go to X. Let's pull up my Grokky. We have burn and earn. Just trying to see if I can find it all in one sentence.
Yeah, put Radium in there too, because I think Meteora, they're just a different, similar pool, but I think they've got their own kind of version of it as well.
Explain Radium's Dex burn and earn program. Let's see what this says. Yeah, because this, I mean, I think it's if you're not or the team's not removing liquidity, which is what it looks like.
It does look like it.
It needs
I haven't even it's a SoulScan needs to put a different term there. They need to put removed fees or something.
Users can choose to burn in quotation marks permanently lock their liquidity positions in either concentrated liquidity pools or constant product maker, also called CP swap pools. It's an automated marker maker AMM built on the Solana blockchain, designed to allow liquidity providers or token teams to permanently lock their liquidity positions while still retaining the ability to claim trading fees and rewards. This optional tool aims to enhance trust within the ecosystem by enabling projects to demonstrate commitment to their liquidity pools while still offering LP as a way to earn yield. So basically, it's locked up permanently, but you're allowed to collect the fees.
Correct. And then, so yeah, we locked up almost $200,000, and then anyone's allowed to do this. So you can look at that liquidity pool, and over the last month, someone else has slowly been investing into it, by locking their own Sol and Anti, and now they own a third of the pool. And so used to, we were getting 1% of the fees, which was the trading fees, and now we get 2/3 of that because he's getting the other third. And then over time, other liquidity providers will dilute us more. But us launching it with 200 grand and locking it is kind of proof that we to the market that we believe this has some long-term value to it, or we'd lose 200 grand.
Well, I mean, either you're really good at talking or what you're saying is true. So what I need to do, beyond this conversation, I commend you on that. So what I need to do is do a little bit more homework after this. And if everything, and if I have any follow-up questions, I definitely would like to ask you.
Yeah, we can do another one of these in a week or two or something if you want. Figure out, whatever other questions you have, and I'm happy to come back on.
I mean, obviously you stayed here this whole time, so you understand my concern and why I felt like some of these things were definitive red flags.
To me, honestly, but I mean, I know all the information, but to me, it just feels like the people that had just done the research in our group, the people that had just watched our V1 launch that was around, and all of the hundreds of people that stuck with us during an absolute blackout because they knew what we were doing was true. I don't think these questions, I think they've been answered many times in our Telegram group, so they're pretty easy to address, honestly. Everyone has this, idea that this is just some pump and dump But like I said, name one other project that he's even put out a project or put out a product in the last 3 months. Name one project that's done as much as us in the last month. There's none.
No, I mean, I agree that there is utility for the project. I mean, it wasn't as if all this is like innovation and brand new stuff. It was pulling together a bunch of old things. So, it's, you know, but I
That's
get
true.
it. No, there is
But
use
on a
case.
completely different chain, we are hundreds of thousands of dollars into the development costs of this stuff. Like, it's not nothing either. And like, yeah, there's 40 million tokens launched this cycle, and none of them even put out anything. We've been putting out consistently stuff every single week since launch.
Okay, so we've got the. Let's talk about some of the features here real quick before we wrap things up. You guys are offering eSIMs and gift cards now. This isn't like me grilling you, but why do you not have any sort of third-party information about this?
We consider all these products very beta, and we've announced this in our group too. That like our point right now is to prove that we're real. We've got 8 products basically on the roadmap. We've got 6 of them that are out so far out of the 8. And once they're out, we're going to spend the next couple months kind of tweaking things. And we've been getting a lot of like user experience. We still have a lot of bugs with some of these processes. And yeah, it's just kind of a working process for us. We decided to move really, really fast on putting out a lot of products instead of really tweaking one by one. Okay. And so that's just kind of where we're at right now. And yeah, we've been very vocal with our community that like, if there's bugs, let us know. Like this is just kind of beta. We're user testing all this stuff, but yeah, it's all working and it's all doing very well.
So you can buy gift cards, you can buy eSIMs using the Ainti token. Back to the main website. There's obviously the Sol mixer you mentioned. I think I saw news about it being a combination of ETH and Sol coming.
Yes, that's our next release.
What is the John? Is it like a chat?
That's John? Just yes, you can just talk to John as a chat bot.
Okay. And the store. What I wanted to bring up with the store. You can purchase all kinds of things. Some people see what's on screen. You can purchase T-shirts. And again, you would be using Ainti tokens. The question that I had about what we saw on screen here is I am a big fan of this flower. This is one of my favorite flowers. I partake in it daily.
I've been muting it to partake in it during the stream.
Okay. Well, you're not on camera.
Yeah, it's easy.
Totally easy when you're not on camera. But
yeah.
I did find you. Like you obviously do exist. It's not as if like you're like a completely anonymous person. So now with this right here, though, the bud, this isn't something I would get if I went to Colorado to a dispensary versus if I order something from a CBD company.
So it really is an interesting breakdown.
Is this CBD?
That
because
is,
you legally can't sell THC across state lines. Like if it's like if it's what I get in a dispensary.
If you, I don't know if you want to give me your address, but I would ship you a sample and you can talk about it if you'd like. So do you listen? It took me honestly a couple of years. I've been in the cannabis space for a while too. Conversation for another day, but legally. But do you know what THCA is?
Yes, it's I know what it is, but I haven't done enough. It's a cannabinoid.
If you go to a dispensary, it's actually
like a Delta 9 cannabinoid.
If you go to a dispensary right now, anywhere like you said, Colorado. If you go to Colorado dispensary, you get the package. It's gonna say, let's say 25% THCA on it, and it's gonna say 2% THC9, and that's what it's gonna say. And some of those will say 0% THC9. It'll be all THCA. What happened was in 2018, there was a farm bill passed and they left this loophole for THCA. So basically, if a product is above 0.3% THC9, it is considered illegal cannabis in those markets. And if it's below 0.3% THC9, then it is considered hemp. But THCA is turned into THC9 when it's heated. And that's how the plant grows it. And so like if you go to a dispensary, the THC is going to show. I can send you pictures after this too. So THCA.
It's once you burn it, it turns into what would technically give you the same euphoric feing as what you would get in a dispensary from Colorado. But for me and my tolerance, it still doesn't touch me.
Listen, I'm going to send you some samples. It is the same plant. The way they achieve this legally is they have to cut it about a week early, because as the trichomes form and get more amberous, it produces the THC9. I'm not a grower. I'm probably botching part of it, but it's the exact same plant cut a week early. This is 100% weed. It is the same thing as dispensaries. Now, what you lose a little on because of the trichomes, you lose a little of the smell and a little of the taste. Like some of the flavor profiles are stronger with like, I guess, more fully matured weed. But like I said, it took me a couple years to kind of get around on THCA, because at first I was really thinking it was something more like Delta 8 or, just more of this chemical product. But like, I know a bunch of suppliers and retail store locations that have been selling this stuff. Dispensaries are oftentimes buying what's considered legal hemp, THCA, and selling it in their dispensaries in some of these states because it's the same quality product, but they can get it a lot cheaper because there's less regulation on it right now. There is regulation in a lot of states. We only ship to 35 states. Some states have outlawed it. Some states have made it where you have to have a certain license to sell it. But about 35 states currently, it's just considered another plant. But yeah, as a connoisseur, they've gotten really good at cutting this plant a little bit early and producing really good flower.
Well, I heard about the legality aspect. It reminded me of like when you can go to the stores now and buy mushroom spores.
Yeah,
because you can legally buy the spores
separately, right?
Because the spores themselves don't have
Mhm.
the psilocybin, which is illegal
Until you plant them, right?
Until you plant them, all right. And so the THCA doesn't have any effect until you burn it.
And that's the loophole. And like, yeah, I was very skeptical for a long time, and like, the industry also, like, it's turned into a multi-billion-dollar industry. So like the growers have also gotten really, really good at producing compliant legal flower that is like as good as the dispensaries are buying it as well, because it's cheaper. And
which states can you not buy? I just out of curiosity, I'm going to try something.
I've got, let me see,
or is it not listed?
I've got it listed. I don't know if it's on our actual website. It's on our group. Yeah, there's a bunch of just info and stuff we need.
Because like if I pull up the state, will it automatically just say it's not available?
Yeah, it just the states it's not available are just not on the list.
I'm surprised North Carolina's on the list, to be honest with you, because we don't have
we can't ship to South Carolina. Actually, I'm looking, but yeah, we can ship to North Carolina. So yeah,
this product does not ship to your state. Okay, so it does let people know. Cool. Okay. I just, I like there to be some more information other than just buying a product, because it's obviously not coming directly from
for sure.
Team. That's all.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's coming from a national supplier of this product that's very good, partner with us, was a token holder, and just happens to be in this space. And yeah, we haven't sold a lot. I think we've had 7 or 8 orders or something. We haven't promoted it at all, partially because we found out it's against Telegram's terms of service. So our antivirus updates channel got banned for even posting about it. And then our main channel got like a strike or whatever they call it on Telegram for posting about it. So yeah, we can't really mention it anymore. It's just kind of on the website, but we do plan to add some other products like that, and some more information about the products online.
Okay, so and I don't know if I missed most of this, and I guess the last thing I want to ask you is what do you have to say about the bubble match stuff?
It's just 100% wrong. It shows it in the first tweet. Basically, 90% supply was sent to addresses before launch. Yeah, that was the V1 guys. That was everybody's tokens. And they said that was all insiders, and they went on that assumption that that's the team, but that was 250 something V1 supporters that swapped their tokens in.
Right. So we can't even say that it's that when the token was launched and we've seen a dump, we can't really, honestly say if it was people who were
they tracked
V2, if it was
if you go down that thread, they add up every single wallet, which was all hundreds of our V1 holders, and basically say that I think they dumped $500,000 or something and say that was the team. But it was actually the hundreds of V1 holders that obviously sold. Like V1 got as high as, I believe, $4 million market cap or something like that. But a lot of the time was spent closer to like $1 million market cap and sometimes lower. And then, we had this major spike on V2, and obviously a lot of those guys sold.
Okay. Well, I think that kind of like is enough for today. Here's what I want to say. You're saying you're cool with doing another interview. Anybody who's watching this, obviously, Josh Case has been on an interview with me live for almost an hour and 20 minutes. He knew that I wasn't coming at this with happy, joy intentions. And we're still here having a conversation. I had to do some more homework, and I would like to get some feedback from the viewers. If you guys are part of the antivirus community, let me know feedback about how everything is going in the community. Give me some, whether it's negative or positive. I want to know what you guys have to say in the comments. If there's something that Josh said that you would like for me to expound upon, if there's any more information that you would like for me to know, feel free to comment in the video description or the comment section. In the video description, you'll find my email if you want to contact me via email and send me information. I do appreciate the people that had helped me and helped supplied information to me for this, because I will say that a lot of this information was very time consuming to gather and to learn about. So I couldn't have done it by myself. But I do appreciate you, Josh, for taking the time to answer the questions, be forthcoming, and stay on this with me, because I wasn't sure how it was going to go. I really, based off what it looked like, and I'm not saying, I'm not rendering judgment yet. Okay. So I'm in this limbo state. I need to do a little bit more homework to see some things, but you seem to have a really good explanation for everything I asked. Now, I was somewhat expecting that, but I was expecting you honestly to blow smoke up my ass, and my ass is not feeling any heat right now. Okay. So, I have the talent of bullshitting people, and with having the talent of bullshit people, I can see through bullshit. And I can't see you, but, you staying on and again, just being here says a lot. So I just want people to, comment after the video and let me know what they think. Once I can get past this, if everything's good, I would like to get involved with helping the project if that's the case. But again, that's exactly what I told Janice before me and you scheduled to do this, because I'm a huge fan of John McAfee.
Yeah.
If there's anything I can do to keep John McAfee's legend alive, I even thought kayfabing it and just pretending to be John McAfee, not dress like him, just be him. There's a certain demeanor that John puts across that can be.
There's definitely a YouTuber that's considering doing something just like that. I'll say that.
It's probably Bill Noble.
No comment.
You don't have to comment. And see, that's the kind of answer I thought I was going to be able to see through, because like you can't lie on that one. Like there's no way you can fib, Josh.
Dude,
Bill Noble is trying to be John McAfee. I think he's actually said that before, though. But I have to school him because he's gotten a lot of things wrong about John. Like a lot of the projects.
He's kind of learning a lot, honestly. Like
he mentioned in a video the Declaration of Independence or the
currency independence.
Yeah. John never actually created that, and John really had no information. That was one of John's team members, and all of John's team members were creating shit that John was putting his stamp of approval on, but didn't know anything about it, because I even asked him in an interview.
For sure.
So I just and last thing I'll add, since and this is something I will say in another conversation. I've been waiting, and I've been periodically hinting at this. When John was on the run, when John left North Carolina, went to the Bahamas, Cuba, back to the Bahamas, and to the Cuba again, and then Dominican Republic, then England, and Spain. Up to the point that he was arrested, there was actually no warrant out for his arrest. Did you know that?
So like,
because he would have got picked up a lot sooner, and the case was unsealed 2 days or the day before he was arrested in the airport in Spain.
Yeah, and like I remember, there was kind of a little like. He was getting a little more secretive with his locations. He was moving around, but like, he went through, I think it was Switzerland or something. He went through some major airport during COVID. Remember, with a thong on his face? Yeah. And like, that was kind of my, like, he does not have an Interpol red notice. Like, no. Like they would have picked him up right then. Like,
they would have had to.
And so, I never got like full.
But even before that, Dominican Republic, you can't pull the dual citizen thing. I just, at the time, it took me a minute to figure it out, and I didn't want to ruin it for people. But that's John. John will make up a story, but at the same time, it was a good story, and it was like what.
And there was truth behind it, kind of. Yeah, it was coming down the line.
He knew he was going to have a warrant out for his arrest, but when he was on the run, he wasn't really on the run.
Right. Yeah. It's and like, dude, what's crazy, and like I'm like I feel like a lot of ways he convinced himself he was too, because like. he loved it. Like he loved the adventure and the thrill, and like he even if he would exaggerate his own fish story, he would start to believe that he really did catch that big fish.
Cool, man. Well, again, I really appreciate I meant what I said as far as people commenting and letting me know, emailing me information. Josh has agreed to do a follow-up. Hopefully we can do something together in the future with me, Josh, and Janice. I'll probably be doing something with Janice as well. Again, I'm just not sure what to think, Josh. I still have to like do a little bit more homework and make sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and such. But I mean, it does speak a lot that you've remained on the conversation this entire time, and I appreciate you answering everything. Do you have anything that you want to add before we wrap up today?
Dude, not really. Yeah, thanks for having me on our group. And like you said, send him anything that you guys think about as positive, negative, neutral, whatever. Give him some information to work on. And he was a big fan of John's, and ultimately he'll become a value in pushing the ideas that John wanted to see in the world.
Awesome, bro. Well, again, I appreciate links will be down below. I'll put stuff in the pinned comment after we're done. And I'm just going to do a few things to ride us out. And Josh, I'll be back in touch with you. So I'm going to go ahead and pull you out of the live stream, and I'll talk with you soon. And thank you again.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Again, I do appreciate Josh for taking the time to do this and spending over an hour and 20 minutes answering questions and concerns that I have. Let me know again what you guys think of the conversation. If you have any other information to share, good or bad, comment down below, or you can email me. That's in the video description, ricemediagroup@protonmail.com or ricecrypto@gmail.com. I want to encourage you to make sure you're subscribed to this channel and my other channel, Rice Against the Grain, if you're not already. I encourage you to sign up for my mailing list over at ricetvx.com so you can stay updated on all things Rice. I am going to be getting my mailing list started here in about a week or two, so sign up for that so you don't miss any updates. I definitely encourage you to make sure you're coming out to the Bitcoin conference. I'm going to be out at the Bitcoin conference. I don't have the dates pulled up offhand. It'll say in this little infomercial thing I'm going to play. This is a little 40-second commercial. I'll be back on screen. This is for the Bitcoin conference, so you can save 10% and support the channel. I will be doing some sort of meetup or gathering for people who are followers of the channel, especially those that buy tickets using my referral link. I will be doing a meetup gathering so we can hang out. Join me and many others at Bitcoin 2025 in Las Vegas at the Venetian on May 27th through 29th. You can get 10% off your passes using promo code RICE at checkout. The Bitcoin conference is the largest gathering of Bitcoiners in the U.S. I've attended the past 4 years. It never disappoints, and it only gets better. Check out their website, linked in the video description, for more information, featured speakers, agenda, and hotel bundles. Get your passes before the price increases. Use promo code RICE at checkout to save 10% off your passes, and it's a way to support Rice TVX. And once again, before I wrap up, I want to say thank you to Janice McAfee for sending me this scarf that belonged to John McAfee. I am honored and privileged to have this thing around my neck that once was around the neck of the man, the myth, the legend, John McAfee. And I'm here, that's the only reason I wanted to do this interview. If it was any other project, probably wouldn't have been having this conversation. But because of John McAfee, because of my ties with McAfee, because of the fact that I've interviewed him so many times, the fact that I've interviewed Janice, this means a lot to me to make sure that things are being done right in the name of John McAfee. If we're going to bring him back from the dead in some sort of AI incarnate, it needs to be done right. So all I can say for now is to be continued. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you already are subscribed, what I actually encourage you to do is make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube is playing games and they've been unsubscribing people constantly. That is unfortunately something that I'm dealing with as of now. I am negative 48 subscribers for the past 28 days. The channel is constantly in the negative, where Rice Against the Grain is in the positive. So make sure you're still subscribed. Stay tuned. The story will continue with Antivirus. Smash that like button. If you're watching on X, repost. Much love. Rice TVX.
Rice TVX, the Mike's live wire. American Pitbull, real gold buyer. Sound money advocate, rights defender. In the crypto arena, he's the top contender. From the gritty streets of the digital age, rights lays wisdom, chapter and page. Silver, gold, he scores only the bold. Land, life, and liberty, these values hold. Constitution, deep dive, knowledge revival. Navigate the system, critical for survival. Rights engraved like inscriptions on metal. Pitbull in the game, lead foot on the pedal. Land acquirer, a strategic mind. In the fight for freedom, he's frontline. Educate on rights, the law he'll explain. Chris writes the pitbull, breaking the chain. In the arena where truths collide, Rights TVX, the certified guide. Silver and gold, land and rights. American pitbull in the
smash that like.
In a world of chaos.
Thanks for joining us
today. Teaching the masses, ready to inform. Keys to crypto, rights we cherish. His wisdom lights paths that others perish. Guardian of wealth, from digital to ancient. His legacy crafted, fearless and patient.
Time is our most valuable asset. Thank you for sharing yours with me.